Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon, and I have Chakeita with me. And as you know, I don't interview anybody. I really don't know who they are. We just met, right?
Yes.
We just met, and understanding she's written a book called Unbroken, and the Unbroken is about being abused. So we're going to find out when you were abused.
Well,
right bang into it.
I've been abused over the time frame about 20 years. It started with childhood trauma, childhood sexual trauma abuse, and then when I grew up, I married an abusive man. My ex-husband was abusive.
You know, it's funny because I've noticed in a lot of when kids are abused at home, normally by their father, that it seems to relate all the way back when they get, or all the way forward when they get married, and they seem to get themselves into the same kind of situation that seem to be able to, I don't know whether to put up with it or understand it or provoke it. I don't know what it is, but they always seem to end up in that situation. And I've always thought, well, the first one was bad enough, why get into another one? It's like, you know, but you probably don't even know you get into it. It's just probably something that brings you back to man. This is what men do.
Right.
Is that what happened?
Yes. My particular case was I didn't get any counseling or anything, so it was kind of like a normal thing.
Yeah.
And so when you're growing up, it's like, I don't know
any different.
There's no such thing as, or there's a such thing as no abuse. Like all I knew was abuse, and I was force fed it. So
did you know at the time it was abuse?
No.
See, that's the problem. This is the whole problem.
Right.
And how old were you? How young were you?
I was 8 years old.
8 years old when your father started to abuse you.
It wasn't my father. It was a childhood friend's father first, and then my father when I was 10.
Oh my goodness! No, this is hard to take.
Yeah.
And you took it.
I took it.
So the friend of your father started taking notice of you and started sexual. Was it sexual?
Yes.
What was? I mean, you know, the reason I want to get this out is how can somebody at 10 years old say no, and to know it's no, this shouldn't be happening?
Well, there were consequences for saying no. And, you know...
So they tell you something, that if you say anything, this is going to...
Correct. That's what it was.
What did he tell you?
My father's friend, it was my friend as well, we were told that we would be separated. We would no longer be allowed to be friends with each other. He would be very upset with us, and so we never told until one day at church, we were talking to an older girl, and we was like, we have a secret to tell. And we told her, and she was wise enough to go and tell our parents.
Wow.
So,
but go and tell your parents, but by this time your father was involved as well?
No, he wasn't involved until after my friend's father went to jail, and then he started a few months later.
So when you sort of plucked up courage, how old were you?
When I told on my father, I was 12 years old.
12, when you told your father. When you told of the friend, how old were you?
We were 9 and a half, 10.
9 and a half, 10 years old. And so what made you two sort of pluck up? Was it because it was another woman that was kind of closer to your age?
Yes, she was a teenager. I think she's like about 15, 16.
So she's a little bit closer to your age, of something you wouldn't be afraid of or frightened of. So you and your friend realized that this was something that should not be going on and should not be happening to us.
Yes.
But we're so afraid because we love each other so much. So these men, I'm going to call them men, father, whatever they are, they kind of hit on something that's very dear to you.
They did. They sure did. We didn't know that they were taking our innocence, but that's what they were doing. I didn't find out until I became an adult, and I realized a lot of the things that I learned as a child, or the things I did not learn, I was kind of pouring into my own children.
There's more things you didn't learn.
There was a lot of things I did not learn.
You didn't learn. Now, on all this, you have a mother somewhere.
Yes.
So where did the mother come into this? That you were so. I mean, your mother is somebody that is so close that a mother cannot get any closer than to a child. She bears the child.
Right. My mother was also being abused by my father, but he was physically abusing her. So when I told, I don't know if she was afraid of
I'm sure
him.
she was
I
afraid.
believe she was. That's my assumption. I believe she was afraid, and so it didn't go anywhere at that time. So
So
we
did your mother know that was happening with this other guy? And did she know it was happening with your father?
No, she didn't find out until the other guy, until we told, me and my friend told.
This other girl?
And then when my father was doing it, I told around the age of 12. And that's when she found out about my father doing it. And so after that, he didn't do it anymore.
What was her reaction?
Shock. I believe it was shock.
She did not think that her husband would do that to his own daughter and to her child? No way.
No, she didn't. She was in shock. She was... I can't describe the look on her face, but it was
I can
so...
imagine the look on her face.
Yes.
Was something that was sort of probably shocked and also not believing and also thinking this is really happening in my household with my daughter and all that. Did they stay together after that? No, they yes, I would imagine they would have left. Now, did your father go to jail?
He did not.
He did not. Why?
No. It's a long story. I definitely put it in my book, but we ended up moving back to her hometown.
No.
And then probably almost up to a year after leaving, she went to jail for something, which I still don't really know why.
Your mother went to jail?
My mother went to jail.
Really? Mm-hmm. And you don't know to this day?
I don't
Do you
completely
still,
understand.
Do you still talk to your mother?
I do.
She's never really told you?
No, it's something that I've never really asked either. I figured maybe...
I'm going to ask you right now, Mama. Mama, what was it that you went to jail for? You know, that's a pretty tricky thing. Mm-hmm. And it must be something she's probably very embarrassed about or very awkward to tell. Are you the only child?
No, I'm her only girl, but I have 3 brothers.
3 brothers. Were they ever abused in any way?
Kind of, sort of, but not really, because I was
They were
the focus.
Men. Yeah, well, they were
younger.
You're the boys.
They were the boys.
And you were the girls, so, you know, so it was a little different in that. So what made you, obviously when you were 12 and a half, whatever it was, that you told this 15-year-old you had plucked up, the 2 of you had always been talking about it, plucked up courage and decided that in church you're going to say something.
No, that was when we were 10.
10.
Yes.
Oh, 10, sorry, 10.
10, that's when we told... I don't remember what was going on at church. You just
suddenly
it was just
decided?
a setting. Yeah, it was like after church, we were eating snacks or something like that, and we just kind of told her what had been going on. And
was she surprised? She was shocked, probably.
She was.
Yeah.
And
she just told everybody else, and that was
told,
the end. Did he go to jail because of what he did with the 2 of you?
Yes.
Yes, he went to jail for that particular
did.
reason. How many years?
I don't remember.
Is he out now?
Yes, he is.
Is
He
he out?
got out a few years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, I believe.
Never came after you or anything about? No? Never. So what made you want to become open? Well, you already come open when you were 10 years old, but you started to write a book about it.
Yes, I wrote this book, and the full title...
The Unbroken, Trained to be Broken.
Yes.
Oh, The Unbroken, Trained to be Broken.
Yes. I wrote that book because I had been talking to various friends who had gone through similar situations as I did, and they were also suffering from low self-esteem like I was, and afraid to speak up, and ended up in relationships that weren't healthy for them. And I was like, well, if my friends were doing this, then there's got to be other women who've gone through this too.
And women have, especially young girls, they're shy. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to, because they've had this threat put on them, whatever the threat may be. And it could be you'll never see your mother again, or you'll never do this again, or whatever the case is. They put that on somebody young, and they take it because, you know, children, they're so innocent, and they believe everything you say and everything you do. And also some girls, I do believe, think this is maybe quite natural, that a father can have sex with his daughter. They think that's quite natural. But they also have been told not to tell mama or not to tell anybody.
There would be severe consequences. Now, my father never actually had intercourse with me, but he did everything else. So it was something that, you know, I felt other people needed to hear, and I wanted to start being the voice for people who are afraid to speak up, because I didn't have anybody speak up for me. No. You know, well, my one friend, I can't find her to this day.
You'll find her. Internet. You
I hope I
gotta
do.
Find there's so many things out there. You gotta keep looking.
Yes, I hope I do. But I wanted to start speaking up for more people, and either young girls, even young boys.
What would be, because we have to unfortunately cut away,
Okay.
but what would be the main thing you would like to tell a young child, kind of your age or even younger, what to do, because it's wrong, it's that you don't do this. What would you like to tell them to sort of do?
That there is safety beyond what or who may be causing
Threatening
the
you.
abuse. Yes, whoever it is, there is safety outside of there. It's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be scary because you don't know what's going to
Because you're
happen.
so young.
and
Well,
gonna-
because you're very young.
Yes, you're going to make the person mad.
Yes.
But, there is safety out there. And then, if it has happened, it's okay to get counseling and it's okay to start speaking about it, because if we hold it in,
You're not going to save others.
yes.
And then you're also going to hold it in, which is going to be uncomfortable for you. As you grow older, you're going to feel more ashamed. Because I believe when you're younger, you don't kind of feel that ashamed thing, because you probably think it's quite natural and it's something you do. But then as you get older, you sort of realize, hey, hang on a second, I did something wrong. So then you start blaming yourself. Is that what you did?
Yes, I did.
See, it's the consequences that goes along with this whole thing. Hey, kids out there, don't hold it in. Even if you tell your best friend, you don't tell your mum or your dad, but you tell your best friends, or if the dad's doing something that you think is quite unusual, please tell someone. It doesn't have to be the family.
It doesn't have to be
It
teachers.
could be school.
Yes,
it could be
teachers,
school. It could be anybody. It could be telling another person that might have guts enough, that's your same age, that might have guts enough to tell a grown-up. But don't hold it in. Holding it in is the consequences is when you get older. That's the problem.
Yes.
How are you feeling now? You okay?
I am much better now. I am
Look,
free.
it's normal. Oh, free. Okay,
free.
she said the magic word. She is free. I know we've gone way over time, but this is a subject that I think definitely should be out there. This book should definitely take a look. Wait, Amazon?
My website.
Your website. All right, go ahead.
www.chakeitaandjuice.com.
Okay.
And that's the name on my book.
So this is a place where all young kids should go, especially the young ladies. This happens to boys; they get abused as well, as that we know of, as in many places that we're finding out. But especially the young ladies, don't be afraid. This is something you should not go through, but if you do, get it out there.
Yes, and that includes domestic violence. Domestic violence.
Domestic
yes.
violence, get that out there.
Yes,
Husband,
get it out
wife,
there.
children, everybody, get it all out there.
Yes.
Absolutely. We went way over our time. But believe me, this is worth it to go way over your time. This is a subject that should be definitely out there. And
Yes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Isn't she amazing? She got it out there and she's got her story and she's not afraid to tell it. Thank you. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.